One spot. Alabama businesses now have access to a centralized statewide electronic filing and remittance system for sales, use, and rental taxes, allowing city and county taxes to be filed along with state taxes through a single website, myalabamataxes.alabama.gov.
I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
This is the Iron Bowl Hour.
Or as we like to call it, the show that thinks it knows why Auburn's up all night.
For good fun?
No.
On tonight's show.
Has Gus Malzahn sold his soul to the devil?
I don't think so.
But can't be sure, though.
Not positive.
Not
hard
positive,
to tell.
yeah. Will, coming up, it's our boopers. Supposed to say bloopers.
Did you say boopers?
Yeah.
Keep it. See if we can keep it in. Oh. Read, it's time for another Agree to Disagree.
'Tis indeed, Will.
We know that Gus Malzahn and his wife celebrate victories by dining at Waffle House. But is Waffle House really the appropriate way to live it up after a big win?
Absolutely not, Will. This is ridiculous, right? This is a very lowbrow move, right? Celebrating is supposed to be big things like I'm going to Disney World or whatever, stuff like that. You know, Gus Malzahn, let's not forget, is literally a millionaire, right? He should be like back at the house with like caviar and, you know, Jeeves and things of that nature, right? This is not, he shouldn't be going to Waffle House. That's ridiculous.
Lowbrow, Reed. Have you not eaten at Waffle House?
Well, sure, when I was a college student, but not since then. I'm an adult now, right? I don't go to Waffle House.
This is comfort food that you crave, and maybe like on your cheat day, if you try to follow a good diet, right? You're thinking, oh, I'm gonna cheat and go to Waffle House.
Yeah.
And of course, Auburn coaches are looking for that way to cheat.
Well, I don't know about, not last year, obviously.
No, and so when it's time to celebrate and cheat, he's gonna go to Waffle House. It proves that he's a coach of the people. He's not afraid to eat with college students or with hobos or anyone else, Reed. He'll get in there and really get dirty in a Waffle House with everyone.
Are you saying there's something wrong with being a hobo, Will? Because there's nothing wrong with that. Is that what you're saying? I don't think so. Listen, here's my point. This is not an exciting, no one's like being like, ooh, what a fancy guy, he goes to Waffle House. Listen, if you really want to like live it up and really make a name for yourself, think about Nick Saban, the way he celebrates with Little Debbie, and I don't know who that is, but that sounds like a very exciting way to celebrate. I guess maybe for Auburn fans, these are people who normally celebrate victories by like, you know, throwing toilet paper over some sort of structure, whatever they can get their hands on. I guess maybe Waffle House seems like a step in the right direction, but I'm telling you, it's not impressive.
All right, here's the thing, actually, Reed. He might be there to be doing research. I know it's been since college, so about 30 years since you've been to one.
Yeah.
But you know how fast those waitresses are yelling out orders to the cooks? They don't not write anything down. They have it all memorized. They're very quickly making up orders and getting them out. Look, this is all making sense to me now. Gus Malzahn, maybe he's in there actually coaching some of these waitresses.
This is the hurry up, no quality food that you're talking about?
I don't know. Have you ever had that patty melt?
No, I've not had a patty melt there. The only reason to go to Waffle House is maybe for the, you know, scattered and covered and smothered and barely won football game, whatever they do with the you know, hash browns there. But in the end, Will, this is not a fancy way to celebrate a victory. He needs to get with the program. Simple as that.
I think what we can definitely agree on is now I'm starving. Starving for a patty melt, if nothing else.
Who's she? In a recent ranking of the top 100 sports talk shows in the nation, Paul Finebaum ranked way, way below names like Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and multiple guys named Mike. Does Paul deserve more respect?
What? Why in the world would Paul Finebaum be ranked highly as one of the best sports shows in the country? It's hardly a sports show at all, Reed. It's Jerry Springer-esque at best. This is seriously a bunch of lunatics.
It's Jerry Springer at its best, Will, is what it is. It's like one of the best sports talk shows of all time. What are you talking about?
You've got to be kidding. This is a guy who knows nothing about sports at all, has never played sports ever in his life, and just has a bunch of lunatics who have also never played sports calling his show, acting like they know what they're talking about.
Clearly,
how do you listen to this mess?
Clearly, Paul Finebaum has never played sports. We can agree on that, but that's not the point. The point is, should he be getting more respect? And he's a guy who knows a lot, Will, right? Listen, hey, you can't look that nerdy and not know a lot. Think about all the stuff that's in his head, like that. He's got that dome of, that chrome dome of his. He's got so much information packed in there, and he does a good job. I mean, he doesn't even have to know about sports anyway. Will. It's all about pitting callers against one another. That's a great show.
I feel like you're almost agreeing with me here, Reed. Plus all the awkward stuff he does, like with his hands and the way he points.
It's not awkward. Will, he's got his own style, like the way he drinks out of the side of his mouth and things of that nature. The way he's like awkward, intentionally awkward on game day with all the other people and things of that nature. It's his style, Will, and it's good. He's good at it.
Speaking of, these clothes are like way too baggy on him. It's like they've poured this little skinny stick man into this big suit that doesn't work
But
at
that's not
all.
Paul's why he's on the radio for the most part. Well, and that's what we're talking about is his radio talk show. Who do you think is better than him? Mike and hey, Golick and Green and these people are better than he.
Yeah.
Jim Rome, right?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Jim Rome is just like he's just a huge,
fantastic.
just a jerk is all Jim Rome
He's
is.
really good. He knows a lot about sports.
He doesn't know anything about sports. All he knows about is just like irritating people. Listen, all these people that
Paul doesn't know anything about irritating people.
Paul doesn't really irritate people for the most part. Listen, Paul is good at answering phone calls, and that's what his show is about, is answering phone calls and then being awkward on television. He's great at it.
So we should give him best sports show in the country for answering phone calls.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't understand why you're so upset with him anyway. Well, I mean, you seem like it's a personal attack. What's between you and Paul?
First year he hadn't been on the show.
He's on the show every day.
First year he hasn't been on this show, Reed. Too busy, apparently.
Oh, that's a good point, but actually, I kind of respect him for that, so he does deserve respect.
Are you saying we're not perfect, Reed? Actually, the producers are saying that as well. Up next, they've got a compilation of us messing up this season. I don't remember it happening at all, so
Mostly good.
we'll see.
Will, coming up, it's our boopers.
Supposed to say bloopers. Did you say boopers? Yeah. Keep it. See if we can keep it in. Oh. And 1, 2, 3.
That was the best one ever.
Thanks.
That was good.
I practiced all weekend.
What's the name for those things?
Jets.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry, is there a beat on my head?
No.
Feels like, are you sure? Something was like hitting the back of my head. And
yeah, it's gone now.
Sorry. I'm Reed Lockamy.
You are?
I don't know.
And I'm Darwin Holt. Let's go make some art.
Let's do it.
Let's go off in a choreographed way and make art.
Is Elizabeth gonna be mad if my head is shiny? No. She won't care about
Care
mine.
about how you look.
Okay.
Help the battery life.
Just concerned about whether or not her husband looks shiny and greasy.
Too fast. Sorry. We're gonna tell you these facts. You tell us if they're true or false, okay? There's a little thing we call agree to.
No, we don't.
So nothing but nose. You wanna say it?
Huh?
You could shave your nose there.
I mean, I'm
little
concerned
clipper.
about things that wouldn't be
Little clipper thing.
shaveable.
What's the worst call you've ever made?
To my wife. When I asked her to marry.
Oh,
Okay, edit that, please.
It's not.
I figured that's what was coming. Yeah.
That's money. Just keep it going. Keep it going. Keep going. Another bite. Let it drop.
Here it goes. Keep chewing.
Keep score.
Oh, Cat Boso!
I think you should punt.
I should have known. I should have known.
There it
Get
is.
on him, cover him! But that touchdown really put a cap on it.
A Cat Boso. I can't wait to find out if one of mine is actually true or not.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not anxious to hear them myself.
All right, you ready?
I may lie about some of them even if it's
There
true.
you go. Yeah. Not only is
Wait.
it a legitimate
Yeah.
rivalry, but it's like a grudge match.
Sorry, I
This is
forgot
a-
which side I was thinking.
okay.
Here we go, I'm sorry.
Quickest agree.
Yeah.
Agree to agree.
Would you say, Reed, that Doug Segrist is the biggest celebrity we've ever had on the show?
Yep. Definitely. Look at that, great, taking charge.
Go ahead and clap it again. I wasn't wrong.
Did it wrong.
1, 2, 3. All right, how do you quit? How do you quit?
You gotta either tap or verbally submit.
Okay. Well, I'm not ready. Okay, that'll do it. That'll do it. I'm not giving up yet. If Condoleezza Rice, she is very smart. You're right about that.
Yeah.
So she needs to be doing things like teaching cooking classes. Things.
Will, how do you know if you have a broken spleen?
Are you bleeding?
I've been bleeding out of my ear.
Are you bleeding?
I have been bleeding out of my armpit.
Have you been bleeding?
I have, out of one of my nipples. Is that a spleen?
That's a spleen, all right.
That's what I was worried about.
Are you opposed to them getting close enough to kick a field goal on you? I know that's a tough
You had to think about it.
Did they not call your son Bubba? That's what it said in one of the articles I read.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. When you said Rick.
This is throw up. This is bird throw up.
This is, actually, strictly speaking, it is. There are whiskers. I believe that's a femur.
This is disgusting. Brad, will you start this for us?
I wish I did.
Thanks.
One thing, Pep.
Oh, we had it turned off.
See, you gotta have it on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have nose hair. I'm not. Yes,
gotta get
I'll
rid
get
of
that.
that.
That's fine. Give me your thing and whatever.
Let's get a little light on the left.
That's another hot button issue with my wife. Yeah.
Up underneath the earring.
I figured you'd wake me up in some place.
Let's go. Let that go.
Reed, I need more football. More football. Hey, can we get one on Tuesday night as well?
That's absolutely absurd.
Get us out of those dinners with our folks, you know?
No, we gotta start this over.
Oh.
Cool.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right, start twerking.
That was great.
So matter of fact. So matter of fact.
It's funny because it's true.
Oh, seems like sometimes we can't get anything right, Reed. Up next, we go to the top of Volton.
It's Vulcan.
Volton.
But with who?
Buddy McClinton.
No, it's McClinton. McClinton.
I thought it was McClintock.
McClinton.
Reed, it's time for rapid fire questions on the grill with the man who holds the Auburn interception record, Buddy McClinton. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Has Gus Malzahn sold his soul to the devil?
I don't think so.
But can't be sure, though.
Not positive.
Not
hard
positive,
to tell.
yeah.
Where were you when Ricardo Lewis caught the tipped ball on 4th and 18?
Hugging all of my family around me.
Wow. Right, that's a good place to be. Does it bother you if I say Shug Jordan?
Yes, it does.
Okay, all right, that's an
Rightly
honest
so,
answer.
yep.
Yeah.
What was the biggest difference between Coach Jordan and Coach Bryant?
Coach Jordan was such a gentleman and so low-key that when he did raise his voice, you knew you were in trouble.
You know what I got out of that? Bear Bryant, not a gentleman. Not a just as a.
I didn't say that.
He didn't technically say that. That's a good point. All right. Where will Gus Malzahn be coaching 3 years from now?
I think Auburn University.
All right.
Unless his wife starts shopping around.
That's a good point.
How many national championships has Alabama won?
You would have to ask some of my Alabama friends.
Yeah, it's a.
You have Alabama friends?
A couple.
Okay.
Golf buddies.
Golf buddies. Yeah. Tricky number to nail down. College football playoff. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up all the way.
Yeah.
Totally. Have you ever heard of Pudge Heffelfinger?
No.
No. You shouldn't have either. That's oh boy, still sore about that.
Are football players too soft nowadays?
Oh, I don't think so at all. I think they're very, very tough, and the weight training programs they're on now, they're incredibly strong.
So it's just the rules committee.
Yeah, maybe so.
They're the soft ones.
The softies.
Yeah.
Mr. Softy. Now I want some ice cream. What's the secret to intercepting lots and lots of passes?
Having the opponent throw a lot of times.
That's good. That helps. Yeah.
Does Auburn actually have a decent defense this year?
They actually do. Ellis Johnson has done a remarkable job with these young guys, and they bend a lot, but they don't break a lot. And unfortunately, against Georgia, they broke a little more than normal.
Same guys that were just arm tackling last year. Same guys.
Hard to believe.
Sometimes no arm tackling.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
There you go. All right, good answers.
It's cold. Let's go to the elevator.
I agree. Very good.
Guys, this wind is no lie.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
It's true.
Now, speaking of lies, though, Buddy McClinton, go ahead and lie to us and tell us that you expected this out of Auburn this season.
No, I was looking more for a 7-5 year, and really would have been pretty proud of that one.
Yeah. Right, sure, for 3-9, of course. So now 10-1 with the bye week going into Alabama. What do you think about this game?
I think it's going to be a great game, and I really mean that. I think that you give Coach Malzahn 2 weeks to prepare for anybody. Just like when you get Coach Saban 2 weeks to prepare, he's pretty tough to beat. I think Coach Malzahn will come up with a game plan that will cause Alabama a lot of difficulties.
Well, he certainly did it in 2009, maybe a similar sort of deal here in this game. We'll see.
I don't know that the teams are anything alike. I think this defense is really, really fast that Alabama has. And it's going to take it'll probably take catching them in the wrong formation, catching them off guard, maybe even a trick play or two, because they really pursue so fast to the ball. Hopefully you might catch them going the wrong way with a reverse or something like that.
A trick play. Alabama fans don't like that.
Yeah, I think maybe it's going to come down to Alabama players thinking that Corey Grant is actually on their team, trying not to tackle him. That might be the turning point in the game.
Well, let me say this. I like Corey Grant's chances if he turns the corner.
Yeah, there you go.
He's one of the fastest players in the country.
It makes you say, where was he last year? He was on the team. Why was he not doing this last year?
Yeah.
You don't
well,
have to answer that.
Thank goodness the staff from last year is not here any longer, so I think that answers that question.
All right, it's time for a little thing we call word association. This is where we give you a word. You have to tell us the very first thing that comes to your mind. Ready?
I'll try.
Time for word association.
Here we go. The Iron Bowl.
Tough.
The Iron Bowl Hour.
Tough.
Bill Oliver.
The best.
Pass interference.
No contest.
Nick Saban.
Competitive.
Nick Marshall.
Great athlete.
Pat Dye.
Great coach.
Ricardo Lewis.
Great athlete.
Jameis Winston.
Fabulous athlete.
Roll Tide Roll.
Boo.
Those were good answers.
Yeah, I like
those were good answers.
I like the Halloween answer there at the end.
Oh yeah, a little scary.
Good stuff. Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Reed, it'll be time for This Is Your Life with former Auburn player Buddy McClinton. Welcome back to a windy Iron Bowl hour, and Will Lockamy, he's Reed Lockamy, and that's my buddy, Mr. McClinton.
Now, Mr. McClinton, you and I have something in common. You hold the record for most interceptions at Auburn, and I hold the record for most interceptions at the middle school where I played. Unfortunately, I was the quarterback, though. But you know a thing or two about incoming passes, and we wanted to ask you about this. A lot of people have said that the play at the end of the Auburn-Georgia game was just dumb luck for Auburn, but what do you make of that? Is that just luck?
Well, there were a couple of things that happened. First of all, the defensive backs should have slapped the ball down. But when they didn't and the ball popped up in the air, then these kids work on drills all the time at practice in situations just like this, where they practice flipping a ball over their shoulder and they practice catching that ball without knowing when it's coming. And just like defensive backs do tip drills, even when you know that it's coming, it's hard to catch it. But when you're running full speed down the field and you catch it like that, there's a lot of athletic ability involved.
I mean, it's so crazy because it really did. It's almost like he didn't see it when it hit the Georgia guys, and then all of a sudden it appeared in front of him, and he's like, yep, there it is.
Well, let me say this, and I'm sure you heard it about automobile accidents. Everything happens in slow motion. Well, when that was replayed on TV, they showed him bobble it 2 or 3 times. I assure you, in Ricardo's mind, that ball was moving in slow motion, and he was focusing on nothing except catching the ball.
Ricardo Lewis, now a huge hero in Auburn. Of course, had he not made that catch, he would have been remembered for the huge tackle on Trey Mason in the series before that. So he really did himself a favor there.
That's life in the big leagues.
Yeah,
for sure.
All
right, it's time now for a thing we call This Is Your Life. This is where we have 2 producers. Both are fantastic, but due to budget cuts, we have to get rid of one of them. So we're going to read some facts that they've given us about your life, decide which ones are the most accurate. So we'll read the facts. You tell us which ones are true or not, and a little thing we call This Is Your Life.
Here we go. All right. All right, here's a fact about you. You were once snubbed by Playboy magazine, is that correct?
That is correct.
You wanted to model, but they wouldn't let you?
I wanted to be the centerfold, and they ruled against me.
So this is an all-American situation? Is that what happened?
It was funny. I was told that I would be in the edition of the Playboy preseason All-America team.
Yeah.
And they came down and did all of these pictures and did all of these things and told me this would be coming. And then the next thing I know, is the athletic department advises me that I wasn't chosen to come to Chicago.
I think that your mom was probably happy about that.
I think she was too.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure. All right, you built the River Chase Galleria.
I was very fortunate to be on the building team. I worked for Jim Wilson, and Jim Wilson Associates was the developer, and I was in charge of development, and that was my main project.
I'll give you credit for the carousel.
There you go. All right, here's a fact about you. Despite later setting records there, you almost had to walk on at Auburn until the famous singer Tom Jones convinced Auburn to give you a scholarship. Is that right?
Well, it wasn't the singer, but it was Tom Jones, the football coach from Robert E. Lee High School, who had just become the freshman coach at Auburn. And of course, he had coached me at my career at Robert E. Lee and Montgomery. And he convinced Coach Jordan into giving me a scholarship, and myself and a young man by the name of Keith Green, we signed the last 2 scholarships Auburn had.
From Robert E. Lee. I thought he was from Wales, but I don't know everything. What's your last
Tom
one, Will?
Jones, he's a lady killer.
Yeah.
You thought you could intercept every pass that was thrown?
I thought if it was anywhere near me, I could.
How about that? Why'd you catch so many? What were you doing different than everybody else?
I think probably I had to give most of my credit to Bill Oliver. Brother Oliver really taught us about how much ground you could cover when the ball was in the air, and we used to do a drill where we would take off running and he would start counting, and he would count to 4 and then stop. So you had to stop right where you were, and all of a sudden you'd look back and you'd see how much ground you covered. It's like 35 or 40 yards, and you go, wow. He says, that's how far you can go when the ball's in the air.
Oh, brother.
Oh, brother, indeed.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for this episode of the Iron Bowl Hour. I'm Will Lockamy.
Now I'm Reed Lockamy.
Roll Eagle Reed.
And War Tide Will.
Don't forget to follow us and interact with us via Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at the Iron Bowl Hour. You can also come see our radio show, Oh Brother Radio, every Thursday, live from Iron City from 7 to 9 p.m. on Birmingham Mountain Radio.
Now, Will, let's get out of here. I just ate, and I'm going to want to get in the water in 30 minutes.
Promotional consideration provided by Express Helicopters at the Birmingham International Airport, specializing in charters, tours, news, and events. And Vulcan Park and Museum, home to the world's largest cast iron statue, spectacular views, and indoor and outdoor exhibits that recount the region's history, as well as the story of the iconic 56-foot tall statue that has become the beloved symbol of Birmingham.
All right, one, 2. I could be dying.
Yeah.
Pick right up again.
Can we? Maybe you should.
I'll start
you'd
with
be
say.
looking really
Yeah,
weird at me.
I'll say.
Whoa.
Watch out, moth with a hairdo. All right. I'd say that's it.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
You get it? You good?
Those tricky ones never work on the first try. That's
Perfect.
You're supposed to tell me when you go throw it.
One spot. Alabama businesses now have access to a centralized statewide electronic filing and remittance system for sales, use, and rental taxes, allowing city and county taxes to be filed along with state taxes through a single website, myalabamataxes.alabama.gov.